What's up, everybody? It's Brandon LeCaren here, and today we are talking about condos. Are they a good investment or not? So, first off the bat, I want to talk to you about the differences between a condominium ownership versus a fee simple ownership, which is generally the two most common in areas that you live in, obviously. So, basically, a condominium ownership is you owning the property and owning the essentially like a block in a building with the right to use the common areas or right to use the property. But you actually don't own the land. It's a condominium ownership. Compared to a fee simple, which is more typical with your townhomes or your single family, you actually own the land beneath the property. And that's why you get surveys on fee simples, especially if it's a single family versus a condominium. There's no need. So that's the two major differences, right? So with a single family or a fee simple, you actually get the benefits of the land value going up versus a condominium ownership. You don't get those advantages because there is no land that's attached to the property. It's actually a different entity, which is the condominium ownership that, or the condo, the people that you pay your condo dues to, not the management company, but the company that's actually set up to run the condo association. They're the ones that own the land, but they give you a right to use that land, like in the common areas, like the pool, gym, whatever it might be, for a fee, obviously. And if you aren't paying those fees, then you are gonna, they may withhold some of those rights that you're normally able to. Now with condominiums, you generally have a lot more rules than fee simple, right? So a condominium might be like a simple thing like you cannot have a grill on your patio, right? Or you cannot have a grill on your deck, and that's a very common one we see. And compared to fee simple, where you can pretty much almost do anything as long as it's within legal stuff, obviously. But if it's in an HOA, like there might be some governing stuff there, but not as much as a condominium. Another thing with condo is you don't own the outside of the building. The condominium ownership does, right? So they're responsible for the exterior maintenance of the property, the roof of the property, the landscaping, the upkeep of the exterior of the property. You are generally responsible for the windows, doors, and inside of the unit. So that's key too. When you do get insurance on the property, you only get insurance for the interior versus the exterior and the interior in a fee simple. But so the insurance is less, and generally you will provide what's called a certificate of insurance on the master policy, because the condominium is required to have a master policy, and they will basically give you a lower rate. So condominium rates are much lower than a house or a townhome insurance rate. So that's the biggest thing. Now let's talk about drawbacks. Like, do they appreciate in value? Does condos appreciate in value? Yes, they do. At the end of the day, they typically do. What happens though is when condominiums don't account for a proper feasibility study, and they have too much investors in the area or in the community, they could actually get backed up. So they are not collecting enough dues on by the association to account for what's called um, the the maintenance, right? The larger items, right? So they do what's called a feasibility study to say, well, hey, look, the roads are going to last for 20 years. The roofs are going to last for 30 years. The siding on the buildings last for 40 years, or whatever it might be. And they're saying and projecting out, like, well, in 10 years, we're going to need to do the roads and the sidewalks. So we need about $150,000 for that. So their budget in their feasibility study will show, like, they have to have those monies available at that time when those items hit. So, and that's called a feasibility study. So with the condo, you could have like special assessments. Now, let's say they didn't do a feasibility study and didn't really account for those possible items that would have normally come up, then they could issue what's called a special assessment, where everyone has to pay a portion of that, or they could just completely raise the fees of each unit. And when something is mismanaged, when the management company is not as good with the condos, they generally will raise fees really fast because they didn't account for things, right? So that, because they're raising fees over time, though, hurts the value of the condo. And the reason for that is because everything is based on people's affordability, right? So if you have a condo fee that's $300 and next year it's $500, well, it might hinder your property value growth because you're not you're still in that same buyer pool. So something has to give, and because the lender is using the condo fee and the mortgage to qualify the buyer, if that condo fee is going up faster than the market rate of properties going up in that area, then it will start hurting the values of the condos. So you'll actually notice that the prices in some condos will start dropping down a little bit. So that's the biggest thing, is like making sure if you are going to buy a condo that you look through the history of it and see when the last time they raised their HOA dues or their condo dues, and that it was warranted. Look at the feasibility study to make sure that they don't have anything major or they don't have any special assessments, or definitely review those condo documents before you move into a condo. Compared to a fee simple where you own the land, there's no one telling you like what you can't do or can do, right? So like you could have a pink door if you wanted a pink door in a condo. You may not be able to get a pink door, right? There are things that you are not able to do that you would be able to normally do if you actually own the land underneath. They also might govern like what type of windows you need to install, what type of doors you need to have, what type of lights on the exterior of the house you might, exterior of the condo. So are condos good investments? Yes, they can be. The biggest thing is you need to do your due diligence and make sure that the fees are not going up super fast, and that it's in a good area that is going to continue to appreciate. The key though is that you do not own the land of the property, so it definitely hurts the value of it going up. Like for instance, if you bought a condo for $500,000 and bought a townhome for $500,000, definitely basically my experience, every single time I've seen the townhome go up more in value than the condo does, and it's because of that fee and because of the type of ownership. It's a condominium ownership compared to a fee simple ownership. Even though the condo might have more amenities or will have more amenities than a townhome development or a nice condo building, like you might have a pool, you might not have a pool, right? So those are all things that you're paying for. I would say condos are generally best for like convenience. So if you just care about convenience and you just want things like readily available, you're not in town a lot, and you just want to be able to make sure that everything's taken care of when you're gone, condominium might be good. So those are just things to think about. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Ultimately, condos are a good investment, but better investments are fee simple ownership in townhomes and single family. Hit the subscribe button below, like, follow, comment. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.